In 2014, a trade dispute arose between the United States and Mexico. The product in question was delicious Mexican sugarcane. Tariffs were issued when the U.S. sugar growers criticized the U.S. for letting the country become flooded with the less expensive Mexican sugar. While the U.S. has since decided to remove the tariff, they have enacted measures to limit the amount of Mexican sugar into the country, causing Mexico dismay as quotas were not part of the original North American Federal Trade Agreement decision. These sugar tariffs could lead to future trouble for the Mexican economy. Did you follow any of that? We didn't think so, but we know you heard the word sugar. Now open wide while we cram pile upon pile of tariff sugar into our gullets and ask, "You tried that?" Here we are, it's You Tried Dat, south of the border edition. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock.
Hola.
And Nick Geiger.
Also hola.
Why is it that we feel, like, let's say we were trying snacks from another country, we wouldn't feel the need to make a bunch of language references? It's just because we know just enough Spanish to sound stupid, right?
I disagree. If we were trying a bunch of Italian food, I would probably just be saying, "It's a me, Mario," for like the entire podcast.
That's not it.
That's also not Italian.
Isn't that exactly what Italians sound like?
Apparently, we also know just enough English to sound stupid as well.
Trying Russian snacks, what would we say, Geiger?
Da. That just means hell. Yes. I mean, we tried Japanese snacks and we didn't try Japanese, like, I don't know, what do you say, origato or something? What do you say?
Yeah,
Konnichiwa?
arigato. Thank you. Yeah.
For Russian, we could say something, that whole like, in Russia, snack tries you, or something like that. Dat snack tries you.
Perfect.
So if you're Russian and you're offended, sorry.
So, again, we've got these Mexican snacks here today, and we thought we'd start off talking about Mexican food, so we haven't touched on it yet. Geiger, it's well known that you're the man who 4 times ate Taco Bell in a 24-hour span.
Captain Taco Bell, Nick Geiger.
I did not eat it 4 times. I ate it 3.
So I assume you are a big Mexican food fan outside of simply eating Taco Bell.
Well, I find that no Mexican food is as authentic as Taco Bell. So, it's not really, like, I've looked, when we were in Mexico, I looked for the extreme Doritos Gordita Crunch, and I couldn't find it anywhere. It was like, where was this concoction first born? I mean, I feel like every episode I'm like, I really love ramen and Japanese food, and then the Mexican comes up, I'm like, I am a huge fan of Mexican food.
You're a multicultural man who loves lots of international cuisine. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, I love Mexican food. Good Mexican food is tasty. I find Mexican food strange in a way, though, that like every single Mexican place seems to have the exact same menu. Like you'll have like your higher end ones that might have specialties that are of a certain like region or whatever, but almost every Mexican place is the same, like tacos, burritos, chimichanga, enchilada, combo plates, whatever. And I don't like always even notice a difference between all of them. They all taste great. I mean, I think a lot of it is like cheese and sour cream and stuff like that tastes great. But I feel like a lot of restaurants, there's not a bunch of distinction between like the actual items. It's a controversial take. Maybe I'm just not going to good enough Mexican restaurants, but they all seem to sort of like blend together for me.
Do you have a go-to order there if you're going to any Mexican restaurant?
I do like chimichangas, like the deep fried burrito, essentially. I also really like flautas, which are like hard, like rolled up. They're like rolled up Mexican food. That sounds dumb. It's like a tortilla rolled up and deep fried, and there's stuff inside it.
Rolled up Mexican food is how you can describe almost everything.
Newspaper. And then I also really like chili rellenos, which is like a chili pepper that's been like cored out and stuffed with cheese and deep fried. Those are really tasty too.
Chad, what about you?
So I actually noticed a big difference here in California. There's this thing where there's like a big like Northern California versus Southern California burrito difference, and it is just based solely on the ingredients that are inside. So I was going down to San Diego a lot, and the ingredients, like in San Francisco, all the burritos have like rice and beans in them. But down in San Diego, you generally don't find that in most burritos. And instead they'll put in crazy stuff like, there was this place we used to go to in San Diego called Lucha Libre, where they put French fries in it. They have this like surf and turf one that's steak, shrimp, French fries, guacamole, and like tons of sauces and stuff. They put all these crazy burrito ingredients in. And it's delicious, but I also think that the other kinds of burritos are delicious. Like, burritos are just delicious. Like, it's tons of awesome, unhealthy stuff shoved into a convenient package. Like, what's not to love?
All right.
How about yourself?
I didn't know that was the end.
Yeah, that's all I got. Mexican food's great.
Yeah, I'd probably go for the more traditional. If I go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm getting probably tacos, and I actually usually end up getting one of the least traditionally Mexican things on there. Is I'll get a steak, which every Mexican restaurant does have a steak, and it's usually the covered in some kind of a guacamole type sauce or something like that. But I always really like the steak at a Mexican restaurant. It's just like cooked a little bit more, and the meat's, I feel like, a little more seasoned, but that's usually my go-to order.
So when you want a steak, instead of going to a steakhouse, you go to your local taqueria.
I go to Taco Bell.
You're the guy that walks into a Chipotle and says, "Give me a filet mignon."
And then he walks into Morton's and says, "How are your tacos?"
I like to give a shock to the system.
The other good thing about Mexican food, especially for snacking, is that you get like the chips and the salsa, which I don't know about you guys. If they put a basket of chips in front of me, I will just eat them until they're gone, and then they'll just give me another one.
Yep.
I cannot stop. They put those in front of me, and I will just mow them until they're destroyed.
Mow them?
Mow.
You eating something is called mouthing it?
No, mow. Like I'll mow. Like, I don't know. I started saying mow.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Mow.
Yeah.
I thought you said mouth it.
I will mouth them until they're gone. I'll even use some teeth in my throat to swallow them.
What's best to go with the tableside chips? Is it salsa, guac? What do you prefer?
For me, guac. I'm not a big salsa guy because I don't like tomatoes, so I generally won't touch that stuff. But guac is good, or chips and queso. Can't go wrong with that either.
Yeah, I feel like guacamole is top choice for sure.
Yep.
And if I go salsa, I like the pico de gallo style. Geiger, what do you dip it in?
I like salsa. I like guac fine. I feel like most places will charge you extra for guac, and it doesn't seem to be that great and like an addition that I wouldn't just be fine with the salsa. I also like that, like some places will have like a spicy version of the salsa and a milder version. I like the spicy salsa. It's my favorite.
What's your favorite thing to mouth?
My lovely wife. That's terrible. But gum, a little take a piece of gum in there and give it a good mouthing. It just sounds gross. Huh?
Does mow sound less gross?
Yeah. Why do I think mow it? I was just, like, maybe it started as like I'll mow it down, like mow, and then turn it into mow because I don't know. I'm an idiot. I can't remember where I started saying mowing, but I say it a lot. I know a lot of people. Yeah, I use that term more like when I'm talking about like crushing through some food. Like, what's the term that you would use if you were eating a ton of food? Like, I've heard people say, "Oh, I housed that." I don't know why that became popular, but like meaning they ate it all at once or they slammed through it really quickly.
I say inhaled a lot.
I destroyed that.
Inhaled, destroyed.
Yeah.
Mouthed? Anyone mouth it?
I will armpit it. I really armpit that sandwich.
Yeah, remember we used to live together and you'd say like, "Oh man, this pasta's so good. I really donkey punched it." And I was like, what? That seems inappropriate.
He used to ask you a lot if you wanted to mouth, but then it's talking about eating food together.
Right.
Yeah, you got all weirded out and made me move out of the apartment. I wanted to share dinner with you.
Sharing dinner's also weird. Get away from my dinner.
That's how I ask all my friends if they want to go out get something to eat. Would you like to share dinner with me?
Make your own fucking dinner.
You guys want to go mouth a couple burgers or?
I have a feeling this is not going to go away. If you're playing along, take a shot every time we say the word mouth for the rest of the episode.
Chad, you before we started recording, you mentioned that you had a story, but we didn't get to catch it yet. So, can we shoehorn that into this moment of the episode?
Sure, let's do it. Here's the transition. So, I was mouthing this chocolate chip cookie. No, so, okay, so here's what happened. So this just happened this weekend, which is what made me think of it. And it is food related.
That's good.
So we just bought a cast iron skillet. And so, of course, when you get a cast iron skillet, the first thing that you do with it is make a cookie cake.
Right, like the Cowboys used to do.
Exactly. So we found this awesome recipe for cookie cake. I made it. It was delicious. We went and got ice cream to go with it. And I'm mouthing down that first slice of cookie cake. Just for quick context, I had braces for a really long time, like from like second grade through like junior year of high school or something like that. When I got the braces off, I got a permanent retainer across the bottom of the back of my teeth. So it's just like a wire that stretches from one side to the other, kind of like going across the back of my teeth.
You still have this?
We're getting there. So
Up until a few days ago, so you're about to say.
So I've had it since high school.
I've never heard of a brace that needs to be in your mouth for 30 years. I don't understand. Is that normal?
Yeah, I know a couple other people that have them. It's supposed to just be like a lifetime thing that
Okay.
just to keep your teeth from growing weird. But I think at this point, like, I'm old enough that my teeth are not going to go anywhere except for fallout.
Right.
So anyways, I'm eating this thing and I get to the last bite. And then all of a sudden, I notice, like, my tongue feels weird against the back of my teeth. And it's one of those things that I'm, like, sitting there, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? Why does my mouth feel weird? And then suddenly I realize the retainer wire is not there. So I start frantically, like, looking around. Like, did it fall out on the floor? It's nowhere to be found. And at this point, I realized I've definitely swallowed it.
How big is this? So how many teeth does it stretch across? Trying to picture.
Yeah, I'm just counting. It's 6 teeth across the middle.
So this is probably like a 2-inch long metal wire.
Yeah, maybe like 1.5 inch metal. Yeah, metal wire, basically. Like exactly almost like the braces wire that you see when people have braces.
So you
I can
were
see-
mouthing this cookie so hard that you didn't even notice you ate wire?
I mouthed it so hard I lost a part of my mouth.
I could see why you use the term inhale if you were able to just swallow this metal wire unnoticed.
Exactly.
Did you also notice that your fork was missing afterward?
Fork and half the kitchen, actually. I ate the chair I was sitting in.
So there's a follow-up to this too, right? Because now it's making its way through your
Right.
intestines.
So there was a brief period of freak out. Like, we started like looking up, do I need to go to the emergency room? Like, is this going to rip my insides apart? We found some article of a woman in Brazil who started having stomach pains one day and ended up going to get like an x-ray, and they found her braces wire from 10 years previous was like it lodged in her intestine, like cutting it up and stuff.
Good lord.
They had to surgically remove it. So that freaked me out. But then I found a bunch of other articles that were like, oh, this happens all the time. Like, most of the time you just pass it out, or your stomach acid sometimes will dissolve it. So that leads me to today, when I got home from work. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like stories involving poop, just fast forward like 3 minutes.
Or the type of person doesn't like stories that involve sharp razor wire coming out your asshole.
So I actually had taken a dump, my first post-cookie dump at work yesterday.
Post-cookie dump?
Yeah, my
Is it-
first
Wait, hold on. When did you eat the cookie cake?
Saturday night.
And you didn't take a dump until Monday?
Monday morning, yeah, first thing when I got into work.
Okay, it's in one day.
I'm like a 4 to 5 dump a week person. I'm
I
definitely
think
not
I'm finding
daily.
other problems with you.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it and see if it's there. This was Monday morning. But this is at work, and at work we have the auto flush toilets. So I stood up and turned around to go look, and then the flush kicked in and it sucked it down before I had a chance to do anything. So it's like, oh no, if it was...
You missed your chance.
I know, I could have missed my chance. Like,
I picture you like pawing at the water as it goes down the hole.
no. Like I lost a wedding ring or something.
Can I fast forward this podcast? What's next?
So then tonight I get home from work, poop number 2 since the incident. But this was at home, so it's not an auto flush toilet. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna check.
You could take your time and just pick through that shit all you want.
Exactly. So it was just sitting there. I know this didn't really do anything, but mentally it helped. I wrapped my hand all in toilet paper and then just just
Oh my god.
I just smashed it. Like, smashed the log up against the base of the toilet.
What the? What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No.
I can't believe you told this story.
We are just building a following, and they are leaving in droves.
Look, it was in there. I found it. That's the end of the
Whoa,
story.
really?
Yeah, it
Did
was
you
fucking there. When I smashed it, it like popped right out the side.
Did you impale your hand?
No, it actually turned out to not be that sharp on the sides. Yeah, so I was like so excited. I took it out and like washed it off so I could like show it to Janet. Like, look what I found.
Did you hook it back into your teeth?
I am 100% not doing that. It's already in the recycle bin.
Oh, that was very eco-friendly of you.
This is a terrible turn this podcast is taking.
So you guys want to mouth some Mexican snacks?
Go back. I don't know, how was your weekend? What did you pick out of your feces? I found a Cracker Jack prize in mine and a spool of thread.
Why are you eating thread?
Why did you eat a piece of wire and not even know it? Just slow down and enjoy the cookie cake, man.
Oh, all right, fellas. Let's talk snacks.
Yes,
Now that you've whet my appetite for snacks. Okay, so we do have Google Translate open, and just to at least find out what you tried that was, and it is intentaste dat?
I like that dad always translates. That's good to know.
So I think we'll still keep our ratings the same.
Yep.
So we can just keep the racism at a minimum here.
Yeah.
But we got a 5-point rating system for these snacks we're going to try. It's a love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, or hate dat. And these snacks I picked up at a candy shop that was strictly Mexican candy. So all these were fun to pick out. I tried to get a little different selection here. And I think we're going to start with the little circular De La Rosa. So find your De La Rosas.
So is this store only candy, or do they have like other Mexican food there?
It was solely candy.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it was like a, how you'd go into any old candy shop, that had all kind of gummy things and huge variety of stuff. So this just says De La Rosa. Guy, you want to translate that?
De La Rosa means the La Rosa. No, I think
Of
it
the
just,
rose.
just means a rose. I knew Rosa was rose. I did
I
not
think
know
it's
the other
of the
part.
rose, right?
Of the rose? Okay. I don't know. I never took Spanish.
It's just like a little disc. When you first mailed this to me and I opened it, I thought you'd send us like a little piece of cheese. I was like, what
It does
the
kinda look like that.
fuck?
Yeah. I
But it
see
says
that.
it's a peanut candy on it, marzipan style.
I'm smelling it, and it smells almost just like
Smells peanutty.
those peanut candy. Like, Novak, don't you love those Halloween candies that are just like rock hard chunks of peanut goo
Yes,
that no
I
one
do.
else in the
Peanut
world
butter
likes?
kisses they're called, yeah.
Ugh, it kind of smells
This-
like that.
This consistency, you can push into this and it will
Yes.
smash down. It's kind of like a Play-Doh.
Very soft.
Mine crumbled as I unwrapped it. Like, it's in a million pieces now in this
Mine did too.
plastic thing.
Yeah, the candy shop had been closed for 5 years. I forget the-
You got this from like a candy bin that suspiciously looked like a dumpster. Back.
Yeah, it does. It's falling apart.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to
can't-
eat this? I just have crumbs all over my hands. I'm shoveling in my mouth.
You can't pick it up.
I'm having a really hard time mouthing this. It's all over my shirt.
It kind of tastes like the consistency. It's very peanut buttery, but the
Very peanut
consistency
buttery.
is like almost like eating a Smartie or something. Like after you bite into a Smartie and it becomes all
It
loose.
like kind of melts in your mouth.
Yeah,
Oh, it melts into like a powder almost. It's
you
hard to
can't
describe.
pick it up.
It's all over my shirt. I look like a fucking slob. I'm just gonna eat these crumbs straight out of this plastic.
It's definitely super
Don't eat the
interesting.
plastic, Chad. I'd hate for you to have to pick it out of your shit tomorrow. I'm sorry, in 3 days. Whenever you pick it out.
The good news is now I know my cycle length, right?
Yes, that's the good news.
That's true. It's like an experiment.
Yeah.
You're gonna put a little time. Eat a timer next time. When it comes out, you'll know how long.
I
it
have a
was.
scientific mind, so I ate my retainer and dug through my shit logs. Isn't that what all scientists do?
Yeah, I think Jane Goodall did that.
the taste to me is, how do you describe it? I mean, it's definitely peanut buttery, but there's something else in there.
It tastes like a super sugary peanut flavor. It's not peanut butter because it's way too sugary, but
It is way too sugary.
I mean to be peanut butter, but it's like, to me it tastes like a sugarier, crumblier version of those peanut candies. It's like the same peanutty flavor, only like much sweeter, and obviously it disintegrates.
To me, this tastes like the peanut butter inside of a Reese's cup that is like 3 years past the expiration date. Like where it's all dry and just crumbly and stuff. Not that I've ever eaten a Reese's cup 3 years past the expiration date. I probably have. But it's that sort of thing. Like that taken to the extreme. God, it is all fucking over me. Ugh.
It is going to be tough to rate.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to let Geiger go first.
My hands are so sticky.
I'm not done yet. Hold on.
I'm washing my hands in my cup of drinking water.
What?
What? Okay.
I'm a slob. What? What do you want?
It's so sticky you have to wash your hand immediately?
Because I just had these crumbs. I was like shoving them in my mouth.
It's not a sticky candy.
I'm starting to think you just have a problem eating.
That's possible.
This is really tricky. So let's break it down. Okay. Consistency is bad. I don't know how it's difficult to eat. I know we were just making fun of Chad a little bit, but he's right. It was all over my shirt. It's all over the desk. It's like, it like basically disintegrates when you try to pick it up.
Do you think that's intentional?
Yes.
Or
Sure.
is it just because they're super old or something?
I think it is meant to have this consistency.
It says it's marzipan style candy. I've never eaten marzipan. Have you guys had marzipan? Is that like just the style of candy or no?
I don't know. That's the type of thing we should know as hosts of a food podcast.
All right. Well, I just rely on you guys to do research. So the consistency is bad and it's hard to eat. It didn't taste bad. Again, it's not a flavor I love. Like, I'm not dying to eat another one, but it was fine. I don't know when I'd eat it. I guess I'm indifferent to it. Like, if someone had a bunch sitting out, I would eat one, I guess, but they're just hard to eat and they're not so good that, like, it makes up for it. So I would probably just give it a down the middle, indifferent to that. It was meh. It was fine.
Okay. So what indifferent? Hancock, what do you think?
I just realized what this is like. I don't know if you guys have ever had this. Have you ever had a thing called Dragon's Beard candy? Probably not.
No.
So it's a Asian candy. There's a place out here in San Francisco that sells it, and it's basically like this spun, woven kind of sugar, like this white, thin strands that almost looks like a really tightly wrapped spider web. And then on the inside, there's like different fillings, and the best one is peanut butter. And when you bite into it, the peanut butter is like exactly like this. Like it's very powdery and like kind of explodes all over you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have that woven thing around the outside, it like holds it into place. So that's like a strictly superior version of kind of this same idea. I'm with Geiger. If this thing had held together, I probably would have gone like that because I liked the flavor. It was maybe a little too sweet, but I liked it. But just the fact that it was just disintegrated just from like me like breathing on it knocks it down some points. So I think I'm going to go indifferent also.
All right, 2 indifferents. I breathed all over it and it did not disintegrate, so I'm not sure
Really?
what kind of dragon's breath you have over there. But it crumbles too easily, and it's not in a container conducive to that. Like Chad said, it should be surrounded by something, or at least not in just a loose piece of plastic. So I'm going to go right along with you guys and do a third indifferent. This might be our first ever 3 indifferents, and I'm sure we gave that some kind of name.
It was the lazy electioneer.
That's right. It's the guy who just leaves the electioneering pamphlet on your doorstep and walks away casually. So,
that most easily digestible award. The minute you hear it, you know exactly what the fuck we're talking about.
well, then you have the thing telling you to vote for someone in your house. You could throw it away, which would be a pain, but you also might write a phone number or something on it, so it might be useful. So it's good and bad too.
Good point. Is that what those people are called, electioneers, or are they just like
They are now.
volunteer?
I know the term electioneering, but I don't know if that person's job is called electioneer or just has a terrible job and failed at life.
I should
That's
probably
right.
stop being asked or asking you guys questions I should probably know. This is not looking real good for me right here. What's an electioneer? What does De La Rosa mean in English? What was the last one you just asked me that I didn't know? What does a marzipan taste like? This has been a real learning experience for me.
3 indifference, so that's completely middle of the road there. So we're not helping you out at all as a listener about whether or not you should try that. You're exactly where you were before we started, which was
At
maybe
least it
eat
didn't
it,
get
maybe
a Hancock. I hate that because it's not a Reese's cup. If that helps you a little. You know it has to be pretty tasty if he didn't just immediately banish it on site.
That's true.
And that's a pretty adjacent food. It's like you said, it tastes like the peanut butter filling of a Reese's cup, only sweeter.
So Mexican food a lot of times is thought of as being spicy and hot. So this candy
Oh boy.
has a oh boy.
Oh shit.
Guys, I gotta go dig through my shit again. I'll be back in a little bit.
Hey, don't eat
All right.
the stick of this candy.
It's called Chipileta, and it's got a picture of what looks like Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day on the front, and he is holding a lollipop, and on top it says lollipop and hot candy powder. Now, just feeling the package, you can feel a lollipop in there and a bunch of loose. The powder's just loose at the bottom of this small package, so this
Yeah.
also might be tough to eat. And
You know what I bet this is? It might be one of those things you're supposed to lick it first and get it wet and then dip it in the
yeah.
powder.
For sure. All right,
What?
I'm opening.
You've never seen it like the dipping
Like a
sticks where you
fun-
like a
uh,
stick
fun
and
dip.
a fun dip. That's one. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so yeah, I pulled out the lollipop. It's a real, like, on a tiny little toothpick-sized stick, a lollipop, and there's a bunch of powder in the bottom.
I honestly have no idea what to expect. Like, what is the flavor going to be? Orange? Is it like what?
I'm just going at the lollipop alone first,
Yeah,
and I don't know. There's like almost no flavor to this thing.
just salt or something.
Well, it's the powder.
It tastes like the rim of a margarita.
All right, now we're gonna lick it, stick it down in the powder here.
Then mouth the shit out of that lollipop.
That's a good description of what you're doing with this. I put it in the chili powder. It doesn't taste that spicy. It just
Yeah, I don't.
tastes almost sour. Almost like
Yeah,
I thought it was really gonna be something hot, but it's
Look.
not living up to that.
if you two aren't screaming in pain, then this thing is not hot in any way.
it's not.
False advertising.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say really a hot factor of about 1.
All right, well, that's enough of that.
And I guess it's like an orange. Do you guys taste some kind of orange flavor?
Sure.
I just taste like the sour kind of.
Yeah, it's really, and the stuff's really gritty too.
God, I can't believe how much peanut candy I have on me.
Chad, since you've already stopped eating this candy, we'll let you go ahead and rate.
What is the point of this? Like, I really thought I was gonna taste the powder and then just like my head was gonna explode, or I was gonna like spit it out all over the place or something. There's just no flavor at all, really. It's just like a slightly sour thing, and then it's fine if you want to make a sour lollipop or whatever. Fine. But then now you make me do all this work where after like every couple, seconds of having it in my mouth, I have to take it out and dip it in this powder again. It just seems like annoying. So I'm going to go dislike that.
All right. At first I didn't like it so much. I'm kind of still eating it here and going back for more. I don't know. I think that the powder is growing on me a little bit. I still don't know how quite to describe it, but it's not hot. I'm liking it a little better than I thought I would, which would be not at all. But I don't love it. I'm just going to, I hate to keep doing this here, but I'm going to give it an indifferent because I just feel it's real middle of the road. Not great. I wouldn't recommend it, but also not terrible. Geiger, what do you think?
I think the powder. So I took a dip of the powders on my finger. I licked my finger and stuck my finger in and licked that. And it tasted spicier that way. I think maybe the candy itself is like balancing it out so it doesn't taste that sweet as a combination. Here's the thing: the powder adds nothing. It's not hot. I think I would prefer it if it was hot. At least it would do some contrast and taste different. Like I hadn't had something like this before. It's just salty. It makes no sense. Like Chad's description of like the salt that you get on a margarita is exactly appropriate. I don't see any point to put the salt on it. And if you don't put the salt on it, it's just like an average, like an orange sucker you get at the dentist's office. Like the most, you know what I mean? Like the most basic candy.
Dentists don't give you guys candy.
I used to get like a sucker after going to the dentist or something like that. Or
Really?
the doctor. Sorry.
The
not
doctor,
dentist.
yeah.
Yeah, the doctor. The doctors give you candy. to
Some
send
other
you
time
over
when
to-
Chad was talking about his dentist giving him candy too.
Well, he also got gumballs from the liquor store or whatever he was doing. So
Yeah, you guys made fun of me that, and then I texted you two pictures of two different liquor stores with gumball machines out of them in my neighborhood.
You live in the slums, that's why.
I guess I don't know. Those suckers you get from the doctor's office are good, and I'm still sucking on this. I can't do it. It's indifferent. It's just a there candy that I would almost go dislike because the salt just is stupid and doesn't make sense. But the candy itself tastes fine. You can just not put the salt on it, so it's indifferent.
All right, we not being too informative here. We've got another 2 indifference and a dislike, which still puts the De La Rosa in the lead right now. And before we find out about our last competitor, we're gonna head to our segment.
All right, so we're gonna dip into the You Asked Dat mailbag again. So this week's question comes to us from Christine in Cairo, Egypt, which is actually not made up. Like, she really lives in Cairo, I guess. So that's, we have some serious international reach on this amazing podcast of
ours. That's how we're describing our emails. This one's not even made up.
International reach.
These have all been real emails from real listeners, wink, wink. But this one, it really is. All right, so here's what she says. NNC, that's us. I am digging the podcast. I have a question for a future segment. What's a strange snack combination that you enjoy, shamelessly or shamefully? I myself am a cottage cheese and ketchup girl. It's a combo I've loved for 30 years strong and won't turn back. Tell us all, won't you please? Thanks. Thanks for your email, Christine.
Cottage cheese and ketchup is the sort of things you'd put together if you had to make a list of what things would you never put together and make no sense to put together.
Right.
Yeah, you would never put anything tomatoey with something milky. Like, it just doesn't.
Is it like, do you think it's like a salty and sweet thing that she's going for? I'm grasping at straws here.
There's also no. It's not like you're even dipping one thing. Like, the consistencies don't work together either. How are they combined is what I want to know.
I guess you probably eat them with a spoon, right? Like, I've seen my wife eat cottage cheese with a spoon, so you just pour the ketchup on it and then mouth it that way.
I know how you eat cottage cheese. I don't think
Novak's question was how to eat cottage cheese.
No.
I actually love cottage cheese, so it's not nothing. I just feel like that's ruining the
Novak, you just open up a tub of cottage cheese, stick your bare hand in, and bear paw it in your mouth.
You mouth it.
Yeah, the closest analogy to that specific combo I can think of is like a caprese salad where you have like mozzarella cheese and a tomato itself. But that's not anything like ketchup in mine.
Oh, this is like some broke guy serving you caprese salad.
In high school, when you went over and a guy doesn't know how to cook, he's like, I made caprese salad. It's like a big circle of ketchup with a bunch of cottage cheese dumped on it. My friend Chad told me how to eat this. Just use your hand.
From your cooking magic class.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you guys think of any combos?
I think my top combo that's weird is chocolate chip cookie and retainer wire. I don't really do this anymore, but I remember in high school when I ate almost no variety of foods, I used to make sandwiches from the cafeteria that were literally just 2 pieces of white bread with nothing in between except for Ruffles potato chips and American cheese. And like that was my lunch for like almost the whole of senior year, I think.
Did child services ask if you were okay?
I don't know. It was like really good, but like, I mean, I guess chips and cheese is not that weird of a combination, but it seems weird to me to put it on a sandwich.
When we first did this podcast and we did those Deep River chips, did you think, oh, this is pretty good for lunch meat?
I wish I could get these like a little more thinly sliced
and. Yeah, putting chips on a sandwich I've heard of, but not if the sandwich is just cheese.
Just chips and cheese.
Was it just like Wonder Bread type of white bread? Or?
Yeah, right. It was like whatever the most generic they had at the high school cafeteria.
Just chips just ripping through the Wonder Bread.
Yeah, I think it didn't work because I would pick up the sandwich and like half the chips would fall out the back, because there's like nothing holding them in.
You got any?
Yeah. There's 2 that I used to do when I was younger. I haven't done them in a long time. And one One I actually kind of stand by. My mom made this for us for breakfast. So we would sometimes eat like popcorn for at night, like watching a movie or something like that. And then there'd be a bunch of leftover popcorn. So we'd save it. And then the next morning we'd have peanut butter toast. And my mom would put the popcorn, like stick the popcorn kernels onto the peanut butter. And it was actually pretty good. It's like a salty sweet kind of thing. It wasn't bad. I liked it. I haven't, like I said, that's something I haven't done since I was a kid. So I wonder if I'd still like it. But that's one thing.
And was your mom like, here's my take on a caprese salad? And it's just popcorn on peanut butter.
Yeah. She's like, what do you want for lunch? And I was like, what do we got for lunch meat? And she was like, roast beef, or we got some Pringles. There was another one, and this I don't necessarily say is something I liked. I think I thought I was being funny as a kid, but like, so I just started dunking my Oreos in whatever drink I was drinking for lunch. So instead of, dunking Oreos in milk, which is acceptable, and chocolate milk, which is delicious, I would just dunk them in lemonade or Kool-Aid or whatever I had on hand. And I think I partially did it just to see my parents get all grossed out. I thought it was funny.
Right.
It didn't really taste very good. I mean, the cookie tasted fine because it's like just like a fruity Oreo then, but like drinking the Kool-Aid afterward did not taste good with like chunks of chocolate cookie floating in my lemonade.
You were like the Nostradamus of all these like weird Oreo flavors that they have now. Like they actually have lemon Oreos, and it seems like maybe you invented that.
No, it definitely... I will take credit for inventing one of Nabisco's most popular food
being
lines.
a smart-ass kid.
Yeah.
Your dad used to dip it in beer, though, right? That's how you...
My dad used to dunk his in High Life. Yep. And then when I drank milk, he would yell at me for smelling up the house.
He'd dunk them, and then he'd be like, it's the champagne of Oreos.
He did a thing that I don't know I've ever seen anyone else do. It's not all that weird, but he would, when we'd eat fish, we'd have like fried perch or fried, cod or something like that, like breaded fish. He would dunk it in ketchup, which is not weird, but most people associate like fish with tartar sauce.
Right.
Huh?
That's a little weird.
It's a little weird. My son, having seen my kids, they put ketchup in anything. In fact, the other day I caught my
salad, which is definitely weird.
The weird part is that he called it a caprese salad. He had this thing he called fish salad, where he would just chop up a bunch of fish, mix it with cottage cheese, and then dump a shitload of ketchup on top. And then he would just eat it like a big soup. It was pretty terrible.
One of my weird ones actually does involve, actually the only two things are ketchup. So when I was a kid, I used to put ketchup on salad. For whatever reason, I preferred it to salad dressing. And I will defend it in that salad dressing, at least there are salad dressings that have like ketchup type things in them, like Thousand Island's not miles away from ketchup.
Okay.
I realize as an adult that's terrible and tastes disgusting.
I'm not coming with you on that one.
They used to do that a bunch, and this is not weird at all, really, because it's these two things mixed together a lot. But anytime at a restaurant, we'll dip fries in a ketchup mustard combination, which is not weird at all. But
I think that.
Where is it that they do fry sauce? I think in Salt Lake City, and that's like a mixture of, I want to say, ketchup and mayo or something like that. That was really big there. I remember when I lived there.
The ketchup, mayo, I'm huge into on my burgers. I need mayo, ketchup, and mustard. The combination of the three to me is perfect.
My stepmom finds salsa and sour cream sometimes in a bowl and then uses that on chips, and that's fine too. It's like no different. I mean, those two foods get mixed together constantly. I think that's fine.
The other one I just thought of that I've eaten actually pretty recently is ham and peanut butter. So you make like a ham and peanut butter sandwich, and that's really good. You should 100% try that. Like
What?
I was very skeptical when that was introduced to me, but it's really
Who introduced that?
My wife.
Was it that same homeless guy serving you caprese salad?
Yeah.
Who introduced that? A guy who only had ham and peanut butter in the house?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You should try that. Also, Novak, I think since you like cottage cheese so much, you should next time just try it with the ketchup and then report back what you thought.
I might have to just to pour a little bit on and see. Now I know there are people who put things like honey on top of cottage cheese and stuff, so maybe it's not as crazy as it seemed upon first hearing it.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Christine. If you have a question for a future episode, you tried dat at gmail.com.
All right, well, we've got a competition to finish here, and it's one snack left here. Now
Not
this
a high bar to hurdle for this last one here.
This is the most popular of the three. I actually see this in multiple grocery stores I've been in. Usually if there's like Mexican food spot in the store. So it's called the Paleta Payaso, which I put in the translate, and it was clown palette.
All right.
Okay.
This is the mini clown palette. No, sometimes there's a bigger version of this.
This is pretty big
Basically-
already.
Basically, it is a
Looks hysterical.
stick. On top of the stick, there's a circular chocolate-looking face, and now the faces on all of ours. That's why we're laughing. Is they're all really sideways, and the eyes are in weird spots.
Geiger's is like actually mostly straight, but mine is full on like well over 90 degrees, jacked the wrong direction.
Yours look hilarious. They like stuck mine in the side of his head, like it's on the side of his chin. It looks like something your kid makes in art school. Like it looks hilarious.
For me, the lollipop is coming out of his ear, and for Novak, your eyes are like so close together on your guy, like they're smashed up against each other. The eyeballs, they have no nose apparently.
Now, are the eyes and mouth? They're made of candy. So this is looks like it's a marshmallow thing covered in chocolate, and then
Yep.
the eyes and mouth are made of a candy. Is this like a sour candy? It looks like a like the mouth especially looks like those. Was it the sour orange slices or whatever they're called? You guys know what
The
I'm talking
clown
about?
on the package is like a little kid clown.
That
And
creepy.
so you might see this in the store as you go through now because it's kind of a really recognizable package. Paleta Payaso. So let's see if clown palette pleases our palette.
Now, do we, like a serial killer, do we rip the eyes and mouth off first and eat those separately? Or should we just take like a giant bite of the head?
This thing feels like a house of cards. That if I pull this mouth off, it's gonna go crumbling everywhere.
The eyes and mouth feel a little harder than I sort of expected at first glance.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be like softer, but they...
I'm gonna bite into his cheek.
Yeah, me too.
I also would not recommend if you're looking for it at the grocery store and can't find it. Don't go up to the shopkeep and say, "Can I have that child clown candy?" Also, don't call them a shopkeep because no one calls them that in the last
Just
100
say
years.
clown palette, please.
It's in the homemade candy section.
So the first bite basically tastes like a Christmas time marshmallow Santa. I mean, it's really no.
It does. Doesn't it taste a little different? Like
Well,
a chocolate
maybe.
tastes a little different than that.
The candy. What would you describe this candy as?
Somewhat flavorless.
It's kind of like the consistency of like a Sour Patch Kid.
Or
Where
a
it's like-
gumdrop, only not soft.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not. I mean, candy's fine.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's right though. It doesn't have much. Like I was expecting it to be sour. I chewed it and I don't really notice it that much.
This entire thing feels devoid of sugar. Or maybe maybe I just plowed back an entire 3/4 cookie cake this weekend, and so I'm on sugar overload. But I expected this to be sweeter.
Really? How sweet? How sweet do you need it? We're just eating candy and chocolate marshmallow.
This is candy and chocolate coated marshmallow. Yeah, it could be sweeter. I agree that the candy doesn't taste sweet.
I mean, if you compare it to that peanut candy we ate, that thing
Uh-huh.
had like 10 times the sugar, probably.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure this marshmallow is entirely sugar. I'm not sure there's any other ingredient to that than sugar.
Look, I know technically you're correct, but
The first ingredient is sugar. The
I think
second
the,
ingredient is clown tears.
I think the mouth was tastier than the eyes. I'm not sure why.
Spoken like a real weirdo.
you'd rather mouth the mouth than mouth the eyes.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd rather just mouth that child clown.
He said to his therapist.
All right, so did you finish this, or you just put it down, Chad?
I put it down. It's not bad, but like I'm really full. I had a huge dinner.
Put it down like, oh yeah, I housed that.
Yeah, but put it down has two meanings. Which one? Did you put it down, or did you put it down?
I put it down, but now I've picked it back up, and I'm going to put it down.
This was
Oh wow.
mere seconds earlier. You were talking about how full you were.
Whatever, I'm a fat sack of shit. What do you want?
Careful, don't eat your braces.
Not only did you tell us how full you were, but you also told us that you didn't even really like it.
What? I had to put it down, bruh.
Hey, as
Put
a
it
guy
down,
who
champ.
gets shit for eating stuff he's not really all that into on this show, I won't give you crap for it.
Attaboy.
I respect that.
All right, I'll lead us off here. And this clown palette did please my palate. And
You're fired.
Well, we got to go, folks.
I enjoyed this. It's not amazing, but look, it's just candied marshmallow surrounded by chocolate. There's not too much you can go wrong here with. I ate pretty much the whole thing here, and I'm going to give it a like that for the Paleta Payaso.
Wait, did you eat the whole thing, or is there some left?
I saved one bite for my wife because she wants to try everything that we try in here, so.
Oops, maybe I should have done that.
She wants to mouth that candy after you've already mouthed it?
Right. We like enjoying clowns together. Geiger, what do you think?
It was fine. I mean, it's hard to mess up. It's chocolate covered marshmallow, which is pretty great. I do think the candy on it was pretty like superfluous. There was no reason. It didn't have that strong a flavor. I don't know why they did it. I appreciate the humor value because it made the candy look hilarious. It looked like, was that like Mr. Bill, that character from like SNL or something? Oh!
It did look like that.
Stealth mouth. So that was fun. I like my candy to look at me while I'm eating it. I'd like that. It was solid. It was fun.
All right, Chad. Now there's a knock at the door. It's up to you.
Ding dong.
Will you let him in?
Snack comes to the door and says, "Hola, I'm a clown."
You just learned the word for clown.
Wait, which one? Which one was it? Paleta or Payaso?
No, that's
What?
palette.
Oh, Payaso was the clown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try
Hola,
it again.
I'm a payaso.
No soy? Isn't that what?
I don't speak Spanish.
Wait, what language did you take in
German.
high school? You took German?
Yes.
Now introduce yourself as a clown in German.
I don't know what clown is in German, but I know it's Hallo, ich bin ein Clown.
All right, Chad. Are you gonna open the door or keep it shut? Slam it in the clown's face.
I'm letting this clown palette come inside. This is a welcome visitor.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm actually, though, going to disagree with Geiger. I think the fruit is key. Because if this had just been like a big old marshmallow with chocolate, I think it would have just been a little too plain and like not special enough for me. I think that the candy, with those bites that I had, the candy actually added some nice consistency variation, gave it a really good mouthfeel, and just added like a little bit of variety to it. That's actually what bumped it up to the like that for me.
I will double down on that. I think the candy was necessary. I would have been fine if they would have put a nose on that clown. Actually,
Yeah, give me that nose and like some chin nuts. You know what I'm talking about? Like the cleft chin, also called nutsack chin
sure.
or whatever.
Like
yeah,
everyone calls it chin nuts.
that's what you meant. I forget why. I realized how stupid it was. They didn't put a nose on the thing. The thing is a clown.
Yep.
And what more is a clown known for than its nose? So to leave the nose off is criminal.
Idiots.
So the clown, the Paleta Payaso, is the winner this week, and it's the mini. So there's a bigger ones of these things, which
Wow.
that might have been too much. Actually, if we got the big one.
Like the size of like a medium like cookie. Like it's not a small piece of candy.
But it would have a potential for some good comedy with a larger, funnier face.
Maybe the fuller face is on the big one. It's got like a nose and eyebrows and maybe like tears coming down or like teeth or you know, all
Big
kinds
wig.
of stuff. A wig.
Chin nuts or something.
Like maybe he has, you know, one of those old cheek penises that everyone's aware of. That's a thing, right? Cheek penis.
So the clown palette wins it for the week, and that does it for our South of the Border episode. And you're gonna want to tune in next time for our potted meat challenge. And this is
We're committed to that now.
no words allowed.
Now we have to do it.
We're
Real
gonna be
quickly,
having a trivia competition where we will be asking each other questions, and the loser is gonna have to down a bunch of potted meat.
Geiger, did you want to run out the social media real quick?
Yeah. Also, I'll say, given my lack of knowledge about almost anything today, I can't wait to eat that pot of meat next week. What's your middle name? Ah, shit, just give me the meat. Chad mentioned it before. If you have a question like our Egypt listener did today, you can send it to us at youtrydat@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter at youtrydat and on Facebook. That's right, it's called You Tried Dat. It's difficult to figure out. But yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback, things that you agree with, that you don't agree with, snacks we should try, questions for us, anything you want to say. We're all ears. So thanks for listening as always.
All right, boys, that's it for this week, and we'll be back next time with 3 new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.